Minus the carrots.
Oh,
Yeah, we live.
yeah, we can't.
Alright, let me just put these notes. Alright, this is the I.S.U.P.K Wednesday law class. We're running a bit late due to some technical difficulties. Give me 1 second. Let me just put these notes. Let's get these notes up. Give me 1 second. Give me a 1 if you can hear me online.
Change my to this one. I'll switch on.
Which one? This one?
Then we can plan all day.
So I can say that again.
I'll change my to
Oh yeah, no. So all right, for what Sanjay, it's the I.S.U.P.K Wednesday law class. So let me just pull up these notes and then we're good to go. All right, we're gonna start off with let's get to Genesis, the 24th chapter. So today we're covering how interracial marriages destroys black families, man. Like you just think you're enjoying the sex. You just think you're enjoying the sex, but it's deeper than that, man. You just think, you know what, this is just some sex I'm gonna have, and that's it. You just think, you know what, I need to have sex, and this woman wants to, and this man wants to, and we're just gonna do it, and it's gonna be that. But there's repercussions to your actions, man. Like all that fun you think you're having, that sets black people back 50 to 100 years, man.
That's right.
Every time you do that, you set black people back, man. You set us back, man. Speaking of interracial marriage, man, I believe they're going into something this week on underends. I'm gonna leave that for underends, but is that you going into that on this weekend? Yeah, I'm gonna leave that for underends, man. Log in on Friday, man.
That's right.
Log in on Friday. We're gonna be breaking down the whole thing for you, man. We're gonna be breaking down the racism that comes with interracial marriage, man. We're gonna be breaking down the racism that comes with it. They're gonna come with what these other nations think about you, what these other nations' family think about you.
That's right.
They're gonna go into all of that, and they got interviews, man, to back up what they. I mean, when the men in the I.S.U.P.K say it, you don't believe it, but you're gonna see these comments, man, from these women that was in the group, and guess who they're talking about? Black men, man. Now, if you're a black man that does that, you ought to be ashamed of yourself, man.
That's right.
Whereas if you're a black man that don't do that, man, it's good, and don't ever do that. But let me actually, then again, I'm gonna skip Genesis 24 for time's sake. Let's go to, basically, let me just give you an overview of it. Abraham was old in age, man, and Abraham's dying wish was what? Do not marry these women of this land, man. Abraham said, don't marry these women of this land. Don't marry the heathens, man. He said, if you marry them heathens, man, we good for nothing.
That's right.
He said that to Isaac. He said, this is what you do. Marry your own kindred. And that's what we're supposed to do, man. Marry our own kindred. You're supposed to marry a woman who looks a bit like yourself, man.
That's right.
A woman who's of your nation, who you know, same culture and so forth, where you got an understanding and so forth. And even one better, where you both got the same God, man. Where you both got the same God. What you need to realize is every nation has their own God. So once you marry another nation, guess what? You're basically who you should be serving. The God you should be serving goes against the God that she's serving, man.
That's right.
So you two ain't ever gonna come together. The only way you are gonna agree is when you do what? Forsake your God and serve hers, man. And then what happens? Plenty of men in the Bible done that and got destroyed for it. There's no such thing as you having a heathen woman and bringing her in the truth. I don't care how much Ricochet tells you that, man. That's a lie, man. I don't care how much the GOCC tell you that. As long, this is what they say, as long as they keep Torah, that's what they say. As long as they keep Torah, listen, man, she can keep every single law she wants, man. She could never be in the truth. And first and foremost, man, you broke every law when you get with her, man. The Bible says you broke one, you broke them all, man.
That's right.
But if you've done it in your ignorance and didn't know no better, obviously it's like a tattoo, you just stop with that person now. But if you know better, like if you know you shouldn't marry outside of your race, and then you go and do it, man, obviously the Lord's going to have to deal with you, man. The Lord's going to have to deal with you however he sees fit. But for time's sake, we're going to go to chapter Genesis, chapter 27 and verse 46. And also, any questions, just type them in, we'll get to them. So in the book of Genesis, chapter 27 and verse 46.
Genesis 27:46. And Rebekah said to Isaac, I'm weary of my life because of the daughters of Heth. If Jacob take a wife of the daughters of Heth, such as these, which are of the daughters of the land, what good shall be my life to me?
She goes, what good's my life, man? If my son marries one of these women that is not supposed to marry. And once upon a time, that's how our parents looked at it, man. Interracial marriage was a disgusting thing. Rebecca looked at it as a disgusting thing. I said, what's the point of me living, man, if my son is just gonna go and pick up some heathen, man? If my son is gonna pick up some woman that he ain't supposed to be mixing with, what's the point of me even raising him and whatnot? But in 2020, guess what? Your dad walks you down the aisle, man. You want to marry some white woman, your father walks you down the aisle. That's if you know him, man. If you know him, he walks you down the aisle. Or your mom's at the wedding. Listen, man. If your children get with heathens, man, you ain't allowed to go to that wedding, man. Because you going to that wedding, you're promoting it, man. You're letting them know it's right. And this is why you need to teach your kids from the young how disgusting heathens are. Because if you don't teach them, they're gonna watch movies like Superman and so forth and see white men and think the white man is an alpha male. Your daughters is gonna think a white man is right and perfect and an alpha male. And then before you know it, guess what? You've got some Edomite grandkids now, man. Imagine now you want to throw all black family barbecue, but your child wants to bring a heathen to the barbecue, man. Listen, man, we need to keep it black, man. We need to keep it Israelites, man. 12 tribes. That's how we need to keep it. We shouldn't be mixing with everybody, interracial marrying. And the thing is this, these other races speak horribly about you behind your back.
That's right.
They call you a nigger. They call you everything else. They call you everything under the sun. And this is why it's a disgusting thing when celebrities do what? Make all that money. And before they go get a black woman, man. Imagine you've lived in the ghetto your whole life. You've seen black women in the ghetto struggling. How about you take one of them out? How about you take one of them out the ghetto with you, man? How about you make one of them wealthy? How about you have children with one of them? But instead, what do black men do? Go and have kids with white women, man. And then what do they do? Take you to the courts and take all your money. And then what happens? You end up coming back to the black community, man, expecting us to give you love. These times you did what? Squandered all your money and spent it on white women and so forth. You end up like Kanye West, Tiger Woods, Dr. Dre. Listen, man, get a black woman, man. The most beautiful woman on the face of the earth. Why would you want to go outside of your race, man?
That's right.
You got 12 tribes of women to choose from, who the Lord said you can have. But what the Lord said you can have, people don't want that. People want to go have what the Lord said you can't have. You can drop that. Give me Genesis chapter 28 and verse 1.
Genesis 28 and 1. And Isaac called Jacob and blessed him and charged him.
He called his son, man, and blessed him. Now, this was when your father was a righteous man and blessings meant something, man. Not like today, man. Your father's in jail, you don't know him, on drugs, so forth. Read on.
And charged him and said unto him, thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan.
Thou shalt what?
Not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan.
Listen, man. What Jacob said, what Jacob said right there, man. No, what Isaac said right there is don't have no African women, man. You can't marry no African women. Who cares if they're similar in complexion to you? What Isaac said right there, man. You can't have them Nubians, man. Taurus Riley talking about my Nubian queen, man. You mean to tell me Taurus Riley skipped over all the women he sees in Jamaica every single day to go talk about Ethiopian women? What about them women that look a bit like your mother, man?
That's
what about them women like your mother, your aunties, your grandmother? You don't see them as anything, but you go all the way to Africa talking about my Nubian queen. He's even got a song called She's Royal. And this is what brainwashing does to us, man. Brainwashing has us believing that our women ain't royal, but it has us believing Ethiopian women are royal, man. You need to go to Ethiopia and see the state of them women.
That's right.
See the state of them women, and you will see that there's no royalty to them, man. Go see them. Go to Africa and see them African men. You will see there's no royalty to them. And you're talking, Taurus Riley talking about she's royal, yeah, my Nubian queen. Listen, man, has he even got a woman? Is his woman? What's his woman? I bet his woman's a Benjamite as well.
I don't know.
9 times out of 10, his woman's probably a Benjamite, man, which is disrespectful to her. He's just skipped over her, singing about some African woman. These African women ain't royal, man. People lie to you and will tell you Ethiopia is the motherland. So what do you believe? Oh, that means these Ethiopian women must be the mother of all women. That's what you believe. Ethiopian women is the mother of all women. You believe that, especially Rastafarians. Rastafarians believe they can't damn near enough make it into heaven unless they have the Ethiopian woman, man. That's why so many Rastafarians go to Ethiopia, get this African woman, and give her all their money, man. Meanwhile, you see their women that they got back in England. Their childhood sweetheart they got back in England. They don't send a penny for them, man.
That's right.
They go out there, that house they built, they move the African woman in. The African woman's royal. Listen, considering she's royal, she ain't bringing nothing to the table, man. How come you have to move her into your house? You have to break her off some of your money. They ain't got nothing to offer, man. They use you. And guess what? I'm gonna let you in on another secret, man. Them Ethiopian women them Rastas is running down so much. Guess what? They've got their Ethiopian man behind the string, behind the wall, man. He's pulling the strings. He's telling them, be with him and just take all his money, man. Be with him, take all his money, and that's it. Read on.
Come. Arise, go to Padnan, to the house of Bethuel, thy mother's father, and take thee a wife from thence, of the daughters of Laban, thy mother's brother.
Listen, man. Take one of them, man. He told him, yo, listen, take one of them to be your wife. Don't marry the these Africans which is around us. And this is why you shouldn't use it as an excuse. Well, they're the only people that live around me. Listen, man. If they're the only people that live around you, you better travel, man.
That's right.
That's what you do. If they're the only people that live around you, you better travel or just have no wife, man. Have no woman, man. Talking about, these are the only women that live around me. Because what tends to happen is you grow up a black man in Northfield, his preference becomes white women, man. Starts talking about, white women treat him good and this and that. Listen, man, they hate you, man. You need to get a history book and see what their great-grandfathers done to yours.
That's right.
See what their people done to yours. And then that should make you say, you know what? I'm never, ever going to touch one of these devils, man. You're just thinking, I'm just having sex with her. Nah, man. We're going to show you how you having sex with a heathen sets black people back over 100 years, man. It sends us backwards, man. Read on.
And Isaac, Sakya, Khan, verse 3, and the Most High bless thee and make thee fruitful and multiply thee, that thou mayest be a multitude of people, and give thee the blessing of Abraham to thee and thy seed.
The blessing he gave to Abraham, man. Why? Because Abraham obeyed his voice. Isaac also obeyed his voice. The same thing that Isaac is passing on to Jacob is the same thing that Abraham passed down to Isaac. Abraham told Isaac in Genesis 27, man, listen, don't marry no heathen, man. Go marry this sister, man. He told him who to marry. His father told him who to marry, man. Like with your daughters, man, we need to tell our daughters who to marry.
That's right.
Because if we don't tell them who to marry, guess what? They're going to come home with some white boy, man, with spikes in his hair, man. Some white boy with spikes in his hair. And they're going to tell them this is what the perfect man for them. They're going to tell us color doesn't matter. They're going to tell us this man loves me. Like all the time when you talk about interracial marriage, someone asks you this silly question. So would you rather your daughter be with a black man that treats her bad or be with a white man that treats her good? Listen, man, I can find my daughter a black man that treats her good, man.
That's right.
No white man doesn't need to be in the picture. How about I find my daughter a black man that treats her good? You're trying to say, and that right there is an insult to all black men, man. What you're trying to say is all black men treat women bad. Listen, man, there's some beautiful marriages in the UPK, man. I seen one the other day, man. I almost shed a tear watching it, man. I seen one the other day. I almost shed a tear as well. Watching there's some beautiful marriages in the UPK, man. There's good men here. You better make your daughter marry one of these men in the UPK, man. Right. Read on.
And give thee the blessing of Abraham to thee and thy seed, that thou mayest inherit the land wherein thou art a stranger.
Listen, man. We was meant to marry into our family. Imagine now what happened, like Serena Williams, man. all that struggle she came from, all that tennis she played, man, her and her sister, all that money they made, just for them to go and marry a devil. Guess what? Who's going to inherit all that wealth? A devil, man.
That's right.
Who's going to do what? Marry a devil who's just got free money now, which leaves black people still in the ghetto. Maybe Serena Williams could have married a black man. What she say, black men are the childish. So black men are childish and all this nonsense. If she married a black man, at least that could have been another black family with a decent amount of wealth. She's gave the all to a white man who's going to pass it all down to a white baby. And that's another white man who's rich, which means what? One more black family is poor, man.
That's right.
She could have been with a black family, man. Now that means one more black family is poor. One more black family is going to have to be on welfare and whatnot. Whereas if Serena Williams was raised right, man, she would have married a black man. But I read on.
And Isaac sent away Jacob. He went to Padanaram unto Laban, the son of Bethuel the Syrian, the brother of Rebekah, Jacob and Esau's mother. And Esau saw that Isaac had blessed Jacob and sent him away to Padanaram and took a wife from thence. And that as he blessed him, he gave him a charge, saying, Thou shalt not take to wife the daughters of Canaan. And that Jacob obeyed his father and his mother.
Obeyed his father and his mother, man. That's what you need to do, man. Obviously, now if your parents are in the world and telling you to marry interracial marriage, obviously you don't follow that order, man. Because what happens, you don't put nothing before the Lord, man. Also, whatever you do, you don't put nothing before the Lord. That's why Christ says, what? He that loveth mother or father more than me ain't worthy of me.
That's right.
Meaning sometimes you have to go against your mother and father, man. If you're a wife, sometimes you're going to have to go against your husband, man. Why? Because you can't put husband or mother or father before Christ and the Most High, man. If your husband's telling you, let's have a threesome, you can't do that, man. Why? Because it goes against what the Most High and Christ say. Now, if you do that, that's you putting your husband before the Most High and Christ, and it's disgusting, man. It's disgusting. People think polygamy means what? A man just has all the fun in the world with 10 women at once. Nah, man, it don't work like that, man. There's laws around it. That's the white man's way around it, man. He has unlawful sex. If you're looking at how Esau does things, you're gonna get the wrong understanding on everything, man. Because his whole life is about illicit sex, man, and unlawful sex. That's all they do, and then they promote that and have you believing, this looks fun. So what will happen is usually young boys start watching porn at what, 13, 14? It's about 13, 14.
Probably younger.
Probably younger. Listen, I can't relate. I don't know. But young men start doing what? Watching porn about 13, 14. And then everything they see on there, it's like amazing to them. Like, wow. And then they want to go and try it, man. Listen, man. Stop watching porn, man. That's what people do. Watch porn and think, wow, I need to try this. I need to do this. I need to try this threesome stuff. I need to try this. I need to try that. And then that's where you get your idea of what good sex is from watching porn, man. Not realizing that they're acting, man. And then when the cameraman says cut, them women hate what they do. The men hate what they do. When the camera says cut, all of them are miserable. There's a documentary on it, man. That none of them ain't happy. That none of them ain't happy, and it's fake. So you're watching it, thinking, this is real life. And then before you know it, you're doing some nonsense that you shouldn't be doing, man. Based off you watching something when they're acting. It's acting, man. There's behind the scenes, and they all hate what they do. But to sell copies of what they're doing, they make it like it's the most fun thing in the world. These women swinging from poles, they make it like it's the most fun thing in the world. But really, they're depressed, man.
That's right.
They don't want to do that. They see you there, man, throwing money at them. And the thing is, you're throwing dollars at them, man. You're throwing the equivalent to a dollar in the UK is a pound, man. You're throwing dollars at them, and then you're thinking you're the man. Listen, man. The thing is this: any man that has money can get that woman. That she ain't exclusive to you, man. You know what makes you the man? Having a woman that's exclusive to you, man.
That's right.
Having a woman that's only dealing with you. That's what makes you the man. You're happy about, I get these kind of women. Listen, man, you don't get them kind of women. Your money gets them kind of women.
That's right.
There's a difference. You don't get them. Your money does. You try and pull it without the money. Them women ain't gonna look twice at you. How about this, man? How about this? The women that we have, they love us whether we've got money or don't have money, man.
That's right.
If we lose all our money tomorrow, then women is still gonna love us, man.
Right.
If we lose all our money, we ain't gonna lose that love, but you are, man. You lose all that money, then women ain't gonna want to know you. You have to pay for everything. Like all these rappers thinking they're the man, because what you got, what naked women in your videos? Guess what? Them naked women is in everybody's videos, man. It's not just yours. Watch all these music videos, and you see the same naked models in there, man.
That's right.
How about getting? Listen, man. If I was a rapper, I'd have a woman in my video that's fully clothed, man. That's something you don't see, man. You don't see music videos with women fully clothed no more. Where do you see a woman in a music video with all her clothes on in the kitchen cooking dinner, man?
That's right.
Doing what a woman's supposed to do. You don't see them videos no more. But what you do see is women naked on the road, dancing on a car, on a car that's a rental. Bear that in mind. Dancing on a rental, man. Whereas you're wasting all this money to impress women and so forth, when you could just be true to yourself and, you know, have your own woman in the video in the kitchen cooking, cleaning, man. Have your own woman in the video cooking, cleaning, man. And you rap about how much of a good woman she is. Because now, our men and women are led by what influencers, man. They're led by what's that annoying one's name? Yeah, that's what I can't stand. Miss Fabulous, man. And ZZ Mills, I can't stand them. Now, our people are led by them, and they just put their silly opinion, man. They post their silly opinion on the internet. One time, ZZ Mills was saying, if the man I have a baby with don't marry me, if a man I have a baby with don't put a ring on my finger, that he's not having it, my child's not having his surname. Listen, man, that right there says child support all over, man.
That's right.
That right there says if you have sex with ZZ Mills, you're going to be on child support for 18 years. And why are you having sex with the wrong woman, man? You pay for it for 18 years. Listen, man, 5 minutes of fun. If you had a Magnum for 5 minutes of fun, man. If you had a Magnum for 5 minutes of fun, it's not worth the 18 years of stress, man. Honestly, ain't worth the 18 years of stress. Read on.
God. Verse 5. And Isaac sent away Jacob, and he went to Padanaram unto Laban, the son of Bethuel the Syrian.
And Isaac did what? Honored his father, man. His father told him what woman he can marry, what woman he can't marry. Same way we're going to tell our sons and daughters the same thing. And they better obey our voice, man. They better obey our voice, man. And marry who we say they can marry, man.
That's right.
Yeah, because you ain't bringing no white boy in my house talking about this is Tom. I met Tom at college. Nah, man, none of that, man. None of that, man. We need to love each other, man, and stay with each other. Go ahead.
So like in verse 7. And Jacob obeyed his father and his mother and was gone to Padanaram.
Listen, man, he obeyed his father and his mother and went to Padanaram, man. He obeyed his parents. Now, if you've got parents in the truth, you obey them, man. My kids better obey me, man. They better obey me and better marry who I say. They better marry who I say they can marry, man. I'm telling you, man. What we're gonna read on. What was it? This is 28. Jump to verse. Hold on. Let me see what I want. Genesis chapter 36 and 1.
Genesis 36 and 1. Now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom. Esau took wives of the daughters of Canaan.
Esau did what?
Took wives of the daughters of Canaan.
Esau was a bastard that didn't follow his father's orders, man.
That's right.
Esau done whatever the hell he wanted. And in this place, we've done near enough became as filthy as him, man.
That's right.
You do the opposite to what your parents say, man. If they're in the truth, you've become like Esau that just does whatever they want. He heard when his father said, "Don't." He said to Jacob, "Don't marry the daughters of Canaan, man." And what did Esau go and do? Went and married them, man. Made marriages with the Canaanites and so forth. And this is why when you meet women, man, you ask them, you know, so where's your father from, man? You ask them, man. You don't need to tell them why you're asking them. You ask them, have you got a husband? Where's your father from? And then if they say, oh, like if you're speaking with someone who the world calls today mixed race, you ask them, so where's your father from? And then You find out, man. You don't even need to ask what the mother. I say, also, where's your father from? And some of them will say, oh, my dad's white from Ireland. And you say, okay, goodbye. That's it, man. You don't need to be rude about it. You just say, okay, goodbye. You don't need to let them know why you're asking. Get me, you ask them, man. Because sometimes, obviously, you ain't gonna know. So you ask in the UK, you ask them, man. You say, yo, so where's your father from? And then you're anxiously waiting. My dad's Jamaican. Yes. When she says that dad's Jamaican, you're like, yes. And then there you go, man. If her dad's some white Irish, man, you just go the other way, man. Because she's the seed of her father. Don't get caught up with, oh, wow, she's half black. That's what this world will teach you. The world will teach you, oh, it's not that bad to God because she grew up with a black mom. Nah, man. The seed is in the man. Whatever the father is, that's what the child is. The mother doesn't play a role, man. Whatever the father is, that's what the child is. So you have to ask these questions, man. Nowadays in London, man, nowadays in London, there's so many Africans trying to look like sisters, man. You don't even know. You have to say where you from, and they say Nigeria. Okay, but by the time you say Nai, you go the other way, man. You hear Nai, and you go the other way. That's it, man. You hear Nai, and your question is already answered, man. That's all you need to hear is Nai, and you go the other way, man. But read on.
Esau took wives of the daughters of Canaan.
Esau took wives of the daughters of Canaan, man. Why? Because Esau was a son that didn't honor his father. Esau was a son that done whatever he wanted, man.
That's right.
Like Esau doesn't honor nobody. No Edomite does. Not your boss at work. Not these police officers. Not these solicitors. Not these judges. What you come to find out is what white men tell you one thing, and they break every law they told you that you have to keep, man. Because they're hypocrites. They can't obey nothing, man. Even their own laws that they make, they can't obey. They break their own laws, man. Boris Johnson's telling us we must social distance, but he got COVID, man. That's right. He needs to social distance. Boris Johnson telling us to do things that he ain't doing, man. Talking about stay alert. And then now what? London's gone into what? Tier 3? Is it Tier 3? Tier 3. London's gone into Tier 3, and now they're looking to see if Birmingham's going into, is it Thursday tomorrow? So Birmingham finds out if they're going to move into Tier 2 or stay in Tier 3. And then now Boris is talking about how the cases is going to go up and blah, 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 blah. Listen, man, just cancel Christmas and then you won't have to worry about the cases going up. That's right. Talking about a family of three family bubbles can mix at Christmas. Listen, man, if you cancelled Christmas, maybe the cases will go down. That's but right. If you keep celebrating Christmas, the cases is going to go up. But drop that. Give me Proverbs chapter 23 and verse 22.
Proverbs 23 and 22. Hearken unto thy father.
Do what?
Hearken unto thy father.
Hearken unto your father, man. Esau shouldn't listen to his father, but you know, he don't like listening to nobody, man.
That's right.
It says, hearken unto thy father. Why? Because your father's wiser than you. Your father's been around the way, man. Your father tells you, yo, don't do that. His telling you don't do it for a reason. Your father's telling you don't go there. He's telling you don't go there for a reason, man. But with us, it seems like we have to learn the hard way. Listen, man, I remember years ago, man. There's some sister, her father told her don't go to a party. She went to this party, and her father pulled up in the car and beat her in front of everybody, man. Had the bout out and everything, man. And he was shouting at her saying, "This is what you get when you don't listen, man." That obviously you don't need to go to them lengths. Like you don't want to embarrass your kids in public. Why? Because that shit right there, man, is gonna make them not want to face the world. Make them feel like they want to commit suicide and all that nonsense. There's a way to discipline your kids. Like there's ways to do it. Like you don't want to do it publicly. You've seen them parents that do it publicly. One time in primary school, man, some woman came in the assembly with her daughter's underwear, man. I said, "Yo, this is she called it. This is her. The mom's exact words was her dirty baggies." She said, "Dirty baggies, man. Listen, man, you gotta be a Benjamite to understand what dirty baggies is, man. You have to be why do you even call them baggies?" I have no idea. Listen, I need to know why they call them baggies, but that's what she called them, man. Her baggy. Is what? Baggy. It's not as dirty baggy. Listen, I don't know why they call them that, but that's an old Benjamite saying, man.
Almost one or bag.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, the mom came in with them, man, in the assembly in front of everybody, man. Came in and left them at the front of the assembly. Like, you don't want to embrace your kids like that, man. How about how about when your children come home, you make them wash them out, man? How about you teach them at home to wash them out, man? You get them a bowl and make them hand wash them, man. How about you do that? You don't need to come and show the whole world, because guess what? This was 20-something years ago, and I'm talking about it today, man.
That's right.
This is 20. If I see that girl today, that's the first thing that comes to my mind, man. I remember that story like it was yesterday. You don't want to embarrass your kids. There's ways to do it. You just have them at home, and you say to them, you know what? Here's a bowl, and you hand wash them, man. Teach them how to. These was the times when washing machines was too expensive. We didn't really have washing machines and whatnot. Like black people, we don't really have. Is it dishwashers?
No.
Like only now, younger people are getting dishwashers, man. I mean, we've always had dishwashers. It's called a wife. Dishwasher is called a wife. So lucky. Read on. We've always had washing machines. It's called a wife. So lucky.
Hearken unto thy father that begat thee, and despise not thy mother when she is old.
So it's hearken unto your father that begat thee, man. Listen to your father. That's the thing that we don't do, man. We don't listen to our parents. Because if you know anything about your grandparents did what? Married inside their own race. They came to England together, man. And they made it work. And guess why it worked? Because there was no social media. There was no influencers with an input. Like back then, black people understood, you know what? All we got is each other. Us coming from the Caribbean back then, we understood. All we have is each other, man.
That's right.
So whether our grandparents didn't get on, guess what? They stayed together, man. They stayed together. They didn't just one day, you know what? Up and leave and say, you know what? I can't do this nonsense. It's just not going to work. I found somebody else on Instagram. I've met somebody else on the gram. I've met somebody else who's in my DMs on Facebook, and I think they're a better candidate than you. There's none of that, man. We understood, you know what? Even if we don't get along, we're going to make it work. Like my grandparents, man, I didn't understand it when I was young. But my father's parents, I never understood why they had separate bedrooms, man. Did your grandparents have separate bedrooms as well? Was it just mine? Yeah, mine had separate bedrooms, man. Like my granddad's room was there, my grandma's room was there. But guess what? They stayed together. Even though they didn't get along or whatnot, she still cooked for him, man. Still made sure everything was there. He still made sure he did his part. And they made their marriages work. And back when we was coming from the Caribbean, guess what? You didn't have all this luxury that you could split up. You needed what? Both of you together to make it work. One to watch the kids, one to go to work and whatnot. We made it work back then. But now, you don't like what your partner says to you. You up and leave. Listen, man. We need to get back to how it was and make our relationships work. Make black families stay together, man. Whether we don't get along, we need to find a way to get along, man. We need to sit down, speak about our problems instead of running to Facebook. Now, everybody knows your man's business on Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp and Snapchat because of social media, man. Not everything needs to be noised abroad. Some things you keep to yourself, man. You're having a tiff with your partner. The world doesn't need to know, man. Strangers don't need to know, because why? Guess what happens? When you and your partner are on good terms, guess what? Everybody just laughs at you behind your back, man. Everyone laughs at you and says, look how dumb they are, man. She was just saying she hated him the other day. You were saying you hated him the other day. And then now you're posting, now you're posting used to in the restaurant with love hearts. Listen, man. I ain't gonna click the like button, you know why? Because I know it's fake, man. I know it's false. Listen, man, keep some things off the internet. Not everything needs to be on the internet, man. If you feel like you need to go to the net, just delete all the apps off your phone, man, or put your phone on flight over. This is what you do. Write it down on a piece of paper, man. Write it on a piece of paper and leave that paper in your house, man. But we need to make black marriages work, man. Even if you don't want to sleep in the same bedroom, you still make it work. Get a bunk bed if you have to, man. You sleep at the bottom, he sleeps at the top, man. Get a bunk bed if you have to. Make it work somehow. Or you call the school for counsel, man. Because when you hear about most of these breakups, usually internet plays a part, and it's about little things. But I read on. Actually, drop that. Give me Proverbs chapter 10 and verse 1.
Proverbs 10 and 1. The proverb of Solomon, a wise son maketh a glad father. A wise son maketh a glad father.
A wise son who obeys his father, who marries who his father tells him to marry. You make a glad father. Like your father knows, you know what? If anything happens to me, my son's a wise man. He's going to reign in my stead. He's going to take over. I don't need to worry, man. Listen, man. Some parents know it's their time to die, but they have to hold on so long because they know you're going to make a mess of things, man. They're looking at it like, if I die, this son of mine's, man. Most people nowadays, their parents die. What do the family start doing? All arguing over the house. All arguing, I think we should sell the house. I think we should rent it. One wants to live there. One wants to sell it. One wants to rent it. And then what happens? All those kids fall out with each other, man. All them kids stop speaking to each other. Whereas, what do the Asians do? They honor their fathers, man. They do what their father told them to do. Whereas with us, we want to do the opposite, man. A wise son maketh his father glad. You don't make your father glad when you're in and out of jail every month, man.
That's right.
You don't make your mother happy when you're in and out of jail every month, stealing from her, people kicking your door in, talking about, he stole from me, where is he? Your mom knowing that you're out there selling drugs, your father knowing you're a drug dealer. Every time someone's dead on the news, they have to phone your phone and wonder if it's you. You ain't making your father glad, man. You're bringing them to a heavy heart. A father likes to know, you know what? My son doesn't make terrible decisions. My daughter doesn't make terrible decisions. My daughter's not going to come home pregnant and not know who the father is, man. Imagine being a father, man, and your daughter comes home and you say, well, who's the father? And she's telling you don't know, man. And you have to be like, well, is he black? Is he white? And she's saying, I don't know, just got drunk at a party. You have to wait till the baby comes out for you to take a guess, man. You have to look at the baby and take a guess, man. You have to, every young man you see in the neighborhood, you're looking at that baby and looking at them wondering, is it his? Is it his? Is it his? Listen, man, we got to raise our children better because that actually happens. Do you know how much men are looking after babies that ain't theirs, man? Loads of them, man. Loads of them. The only way you can be so sure if that baby's yours is if you and your woman's in the I.S.U.P.K, man. That's right. Outside of that, you have to do that DNA test, man. Outside of that, you want to do that DNA test, I don't blame you, man. I would too, man. Outside of these laws, I would do that DNA test too, man. You have to. That's the only way you know that baby's truly yours, man. Baby could be anyone's. And then what do? Put your name on the birth certificate. And then you find out 5 years down the line. And then what do you say? Well, I've raised him for 5 years, so he's my son. I love him. I love him. He's my son. I love him. Listen, man. If you're not in the I.S.U.P.K, I'll do that DNA test too, but I'll read on.
But a foolish son is the heaviness of his mother.
A foolish son is the heaviness of his mother, man. Your mother's telling everyone, oh yeah, my son, he's working abroad. Listen, man, we know he's in jail, man. He's working abroad. And the reason we know he's in jail, why? Because the same woman that you're lying to, her son's in jail with him, man. Why don't you both just be honest and say both of our sons are in jail, man? You're both lying to each other. My son's working abroad. My son's on a holiday. They're both in jail together, man. And you're lying, why? Because it's heaviness. How about you just tell the truth and say my son's in jail because I gave him too much freedom when he was young. I didn't tell him stay in the house. I didn't tell him don't be a drug dealer. I let him sell drugs out of the house. I smoked weed with him. Like there's some parents that smoke weed with their kids, man. You've seen them parents, it's disgusting, man. How do you smoke weed with you? How do you smoke weed with your father? How do you smoke weed with your son? How? You're meant to set an example, man. And the example you set is smoking drugs with them. Usually when children are doing things wrong, they're scared to face their mother and father. That's right. But they're smoking a spliff with you. You're rolling the spliff for them. The Lord never made us to be like that, man. We ain't supposed to be like that. We've learned that along the way, man. We've been on a slave ship, and we've learned that once we've landed here, man, that it's okay to smoke weed with your father. It's okay for a father to smoke weed with his son. It's okay listen, if your father's arrested here, is it a bong? Here is it a chalice? Is it a bong? A chalice? Listen, man, if your father's arrested, your father had a chalice, man. The one where it's got all the water, it's got like all the water in there. It's got all the water in it. Listen, what do they even get from that?
More smoke. Imagine this pop a little bit like this was smoke without one time.
Is that like the old school vape?
Could say,
Yeah. And then you hear it bubble up, bubble, 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 bubble. Listen, man, like them things there, man. And to me, that I don't think it just looks like a crack pipe. It's a crack pipe. Oh damn, that's a crack pipe. Oh good night. I didn't even know. Listen, man, we shouldn't be smoking anything, man. How about we do what? Raise our kids right, and hope and Lord allow our sons will raise their sons how we raised them, and then before you know it, our whole nation is no longer smoking weed. Our whole nation is no longer drug addicts. Our whole nation is no longer whores and pimps and prostitutes. Why? Because we've raised them right, man. So by us breaking that cycle in here, by you coming in here, you're breaking that cycle, man. Like the things that you had to grow up and deal with, by you breaking that cycle, your children don't have to go through that, man.
That's right.
Our children, see, like now, our children don't have to go through celebrating Christmas. Our children don't have to go through searching for what's the truth. Where we had to search, man, because we was like, damn, do we join Islam? Do we join Christianity? Do we follow our parents and become Rastas? We had to search, man. We didn't know what. Whereas now, in here, we've done the work for our kids, man. They don't need to search how we searched. They don't need to smoke weed how we had to smoke weed. They don't need to be a drug dealer like how we had to be a drug dealer. They don't need to find out that eating pork's a sin. They know from birth, man. They know these things from birth. Whereas we had to find out and do it ourselves. Go ahead. Oh, there's more on that. Oh, no, you can drop that then. Give me Tobit chapter 4 and verse 12. Like, we had to learn the hard way, and our children don't have to learn the hard way, man. Our children is raised, come to these feast days, man. Come to these feast days, run around with the other kids, man. And there's one thing in common in here, we're all family, man. They don't have to worry about some white man being in here, some Christmas tree being in here. These are the battles that we had, man. We had to be around in the Christian church, man. Knowing in church, every time you go to the bathroom, you got there's a high chance of you being molested, man. Every time you go to the bathroom, there's some creepy person in there, man. That's how we had to grow up, man. In church, having to not wanting to go to the toilet. Why? Because of the creepy people around you, man. We now, our children come to a place where there's no creepy people around them, man. Where everyone that comes in here gets vetted, man. Everyone that comes in here gets vetted, man. Everyone that comes in here with one common goal, which is to serve the Lord, man. They know the law, statutes, and commandments. Whereas in church, they do whatever they want. Go ahead.
Tobit 4 and 12. Beware of all whoredom, my son.
Beware of what?
All whoredom, my son.
Beware of all whoredom, man. Interracial marriaging is whoredom, man.
That's right.
It says beware of it. Don't do it, man. Listen, we don't care how good you think that woman looks. Understand this. Everything good for you ain't good, man. Everything that you think is good ain't good, man. You being carnal. White women ain't good for you, man.
That's right.
Chinese women ain't good for you. Arab women ain't good for you, man.
That's right.
They're not good for you. But you want something different. Nah, man. Have what the Lord said you can have. Read on.
God. And chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy fathers.
It means above all, man. Take a wife of the seed of your fathers, man. Your fathers is who? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, man. You take a wife that's an Israelite. That's who you're supposed to take. You ain't supposed to have nothing else, man. You're meant to have an Israelite woman, man. You mean to tell me you skip over these Israelite women to go get some East Indian woman? Listen, man, they're disgusting, man. And even if there wasn't disgusting, you can't have them anyway, because the Lord said. Listen, man. I don't care how much black music they listen to, man. They're not one of us, man. I don't care how much seasoning they put on their food, man. They're not one of us, man.
That's right.
You taking up these? Listen, man. You know what? The other day I was at my slave, man. There's a Caribbean food shop. So the other day I was at my slave. I've went in there. I know some white women behind the counter, man. So I've heard a black man say, what happened to the rest of the chef? I think he was asking the same question I wanted to ask. He's saying, what happened to the chef that had the dreads? She's like, we ain't got a chef no more. That's what she said. We ain't got a chef no more. So in my mind, that's saying she cooks the food. Listen, I turned around and walked out, man. I think she knew exactly why I walked out. As I was walking out, everybody in the shop was looking at me as to say, this is some racist shit, man. Listen, I've got every right to walk out. I'm going to tell you why. You know why? Because you wouldn't go to Chinatown and see a black man on the front counter, man.
That's right.
You wouldn't see a black man on the front counter in Chinatown and Chinese people still going to order from him. Chinese people would walk out and say, I'd rather eat from Chinese. I've got the right to only want to eat from black people, man.
That's right.
That's my God-given right, man. How does that make me racist? And furthermore, it's my money, man. I can spend it how I want, man. I don't want some damn Edomite woman making my dumplings, man. Listen, man, I can't have that, man. I can't have some Edomite woman making my dumplings, man. I can't have it. I can't have some Edomite woman making my jerk chicken, man. I can't have it, man. I've got the right to walk out, man. Everyone was looking at me, walk past the window, looking at me in disgrace. Listen, man, understand this. If you go to the Boaty House for a curry, which is an Asian restaurant, you ain't going to see a black man on the counter, man. And it's so disrespectful that white people think they can sell Jamaican food, man, Caribbean food. It's disrespectful. Like, you don't see us in Chinatown trying to sell Chinese people food. Nah, man. I'm never going to that shop again, man. I seen her there behind the counter. I looked at her. I'm saying, yo, I'm seeing things. This can't be true. I ain't eating no porridge from no white woman, man. Listen, I ain't eating no cornmeal porridge from... When I hear cornmeal porridge, man, I'm thinking of a black person, man. When I hear, yeah, they got fried dumplings in there, I need to see an Israelite in there, man. When I hear about jerk chicken, good night. Listen, oxtail and rice they had at the front as well. Listen, you don't love your life if you're eating that, man. Listen, you people scared to get the vaccine, but eating from some Edomite woman, man, making your oxtail. And the thing is this, once you marry outside of your race, man, the whole dietary law goes out of the window for you. You marry outside of your race, the whole dietary law goes out of the window for you. Before you know it, you're eating things that you would never eat, man. You marry an African woman, you're eating stew and with your hands, man. Listen, man, I'm gonna let you know something. Guess what? In my whole years of living, I've never ever ate jollof rice, man.
That's right.
And I never ever will eat jollof rice.
Right.
And I never ever will eat that stew and that little nonsense, whatever it is that they put their hand in. I've never ever tried it, and I never ever will. And listen, if you have ate jollof rice, don't worry, it's not a sin. But in my house, it is a sin.
That's right.
I run my house. I want to run my house, and there's no jollof rice allowed in there, man. In my house, we're not putting no tomato puree in rice, man. We ain't putting that in there, man. You come to my house, you're having rice and peas, man. You're having rice and peas or white rice, man. You're not having no tomato puree in rice. We don't do that in my house, man. Now, if you like jollof rice, that's fine, man. That's up to you. But as for my house, there's no jollof in there, man. As for my house, you will be eating with a spoon and a fork and knife, man. You ain't eating with your hands, man. And then you're putting your hands on my PlayStation controller. No, thank you, man. Eating with your hands and then trying to touch up my controller. Nah, man, listen. We ain't having that in my house, man. Read on. We ain't doing that in my house, man. If you want to do that in yours, that's fine. But as for me and my house, that's not allowed, man. Go ahead.
Chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy fathers.
That means above all things, man. Marry your own people. Don't interracial marry with nobody else. Because once you interracial marry with somebody else, you have children with that person. And guess what happens? Your children's what? Celebrating Diwali one day. Your children celebrating Diwali one day. Now, my children can't sleep because your children's letting off fireworks 24/7, man. See Diwali, all them fireworks. Listen, man, damn, give it a break, man. It's annoying. Like, they don't stop with them fireworks when it's Diwali, man. That's who you want to marry. Now, imagine you being a black man. You have to go celebrate Diwali, no? Now, you have to go celebrate Diwali, man. You could just avoid celebrating Diwali by doing what? Marrying your own people, man. Imagine a black man celebrating Diwali, all them fireworks, and now you have to go to the Gurdwara and you're the only black person there, man. They know you don't fit in, man. They know you don't fit in, but now you have to be there. Why? Because your wife's going to be upset if you don't go. How about you marry someone of your own race so you don't have to do nothing out of the ordinary, man? So you don't have to do nothing which is strange to you and your people, man. So your child doesn't have to grow up confused, not understanding. Do I follow this or do I follow that? I'm a this or I'm a that. How about you just marry an Israelite, man? Like, when you're having sex with a heathen, you ain't thinking of how it's going to affect your children, man, of what they have to go through. Go ahead.
Okay, you know what's mad? When you mix with them, like, they've already got their God. So you
Right.
go with the Indian girl, she's got pictures of her Indian God in the house. That's
Vishnu,
what
right.
kids are going to grow up and see.
Right, exactly. Your children's going to see Vishnu on the wall, and then they're going to want to worship Guru Nanak and Vishnu and put on a turban and all of them things. And then you're going to be like, oh, I don't know why my child doesn't like my side of the family. Listen, man. How about you marry an Israelite, man, where all the family's one side, man, where we all one family, man, instead of them celebrating Diwali on the weekend and then coming back to yours and doing the opposite and growing up confused. Read on.
Khan. And take not a strange woman to wife.
And do what?
Take not a strange woman to wife.
If you take a strange woman to wife, she's gonna have you doing some strange things, man. One day you was a normal black man, man, and the next minute we're gonna see you write a post on Instagram or Facebook saying, "I can't believe I did that." We know exactly she had you doing some wild stuff, man. These heathens ain't your people, man, and they're gonna brainwash you and influence you to go against your God. They're gonna influence you to go to the mosque, and they're gonna sell it to you saying, "Oh, your God won't mind if you come to the mosque." They're gonna say, "Your God won't mind if you come to the mosque," and before you know it, you're in the mosque, man. Now you're Muslim. Listen, man, don't do that, man. Read on.
Which is not of thy father's tribe.
Which is what?
Not of thy father's
When
tribe.
it says of your father's tribe, the word tribe there just means family. So obviously you can marry any 12 tribes. Tribe just means family. So that's all it means. Your father's tribe would be a descendant of Jacob. It doesn't mean if you're a Benjamite, you have to marry a Benjamite. It doesn't mean if you're an Issacharite, you have to marry an Issacharite. You know how you know it don't mean that? Because I'm about to get me an Issacharite one day. I'm about to give me some more. Give me some more. I'm about to get me a Judite one day. So that's how you know it don't mean that. Anything, whatever you see us do is lawful. So it don't mean that you have to only marry in your father's tribe, meaning a Benjamite has to marry a Benjamite. It don't mean that. You can marry any 12 tribes, any of the 12 tribes. Go ahead.
For we are the children of the prophets.
For what?
For we are the children of the prophets.
That's the royalty right there, man. Don't let Tyrus Riley tell you about the Nubians, my Nubian queen's royalty. Listen, we royalty, why? Because we're the children of the prophets. And being children of the prophets means you don't mix with trash, man. These other nations is good for nothing. We children of the prophets. Why are you mixing royalty with a people who's not a people, man? Just look at it like this. Like the royal family today, they would never mix with you. Why? Because they look at you like you're nothing, man. When really we the royal family, we royalty. Like you wouldn't see some rich man go pick up some homeless tramp from off the street, man. That's what you do when you pick up some other race, man. That's right. You pick up some tramp, some any tramp, man, who you ain't supposed to mix with. The Lord said, "We're the children of the prophets." Now, why don't you marry one of the daughters of the prophets, man? That's what you should do. We the sons of the prophets, so it's only right we marry the daughters of the prophets, and it's letting you know this right here that we're royalty, man. Don't go outside of this royal race. Go ahead.
Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, man. Let's see what they did. Go ahead.
Remember, my son, that our fathers from the beginning, even they all married wives of their own kindred.
They did what?
Married wives of their own kindred.
They married wives of their own kindred, man. They didn't go outside of their race, man. They didn't marry people who the Lord said they can't marry. And we, the children of these prophets, so we supposed to what? Marry within our own people, man. Like in 2020, that seems like a foreign concept that, you can't marry who you want. Because they say to you, love, you can love who you want. Love is, you're allowed to love whoever you want. Listen, man, that's a lie, man. Love's conditional. You're not allowed to love whoever you want, man. That's right. You're only allowed to love the people who the Lord said you can love. That's right. Like by you interracial marriage, man, that you show how much you hate your own people. You mean to tell me you couldn't find one person of your race that you love, who you want to be with? Listen, man, read on.
And were blessed in their children.
And were what?
Blessed in their children.
And were blessed in their children, man. And that's what we need to do for us to be blessed in our children. That's my one here. That's what we need to do for us to be blessed in our children, man. Marry within your race, man. Don't let nobody tell you, marry whoever you want, love who you want, be with who you want. That's Satan talking to you, telling you them things, man. You're supposed to do them things. Go ahead.
Come. And the sea shall inherit the land. Now therefore, my son, love thy brethren.
Do what?
Love thy brethren.
Do what?
Love thy brethren.
That's how you love your brethren also, man. Stop it. I didn't know. So lucky I didn't. Listen, I didn't even know. So lucky. You learn something new every day. Is that how it works? You just press it. Oh, shit, I didn't even know. Oh shit, I didn't even know. Damn. I have to make use of that. But yeah, man, that's how you love your brethren. Also, go ahead.
Love thy brethren, and despise not in thy heart thy brethren.
And what?
Despise not in thy heart thy brethren.
And by you despising them in your heart is what? By you not wanting to marry them, man. By you wanting to marry somebody else. By you wanting to be with a heathen, man. By you saying, you know what, there's no good black men out there. By you saying there's no good black women out there. By you saying, all black women do is moan and give you a hard time. By you saying, all black men do is sell drugs. Listen, man, that's how you despise your brethren. Understand this, man. Understand this. You make out like all these other races are so perfect and everything is squeaky clean. And you try and put black people down because you want to get with a heathen, man. Every time it happens, go ahead.
Yeah, how come when there's when there's messed up black women, yeah, black was like, you know what, I don't want no black women, they're this, they're that. And vice versa. Black women like, you know what, black men ain't shit, they're all drug dealers, yeah. Like, that's we're one people though, we gotta work with each other. Right. That's how it is. Like, when the kids are in that jail, you don't ever give them up. You always visit them in jail. Right. They come out, you throw a party for them, they go in again. You try with them, you don't ever get rid of them and throw them away. Exactly. And likewise with black men, what I mean? We might not be shit, man, but we here, man, so you gotta keep trying, exactly, man.
You have to put up with us, man. You have to deal with us, man. Same like black men have to deal with black women, man. Make it work. What happens is though, like every time and every time someone gets with another race, they try and justify it by putting down their own people. Like a sister will get with a white man and her mind is black men ain't shit. Why are you still messing with them black men? Them black men's no good. And then a black man will get with a white woman, and what does he do? Puts down black women, man. Listen, man. Soon it's gonna be lawful when you speak bad about a black man or a black woman, you're gonna get a punch in the mouth, man. You're gonna get your teeth knocked out, man. You're gonna get your teeth knocked out for that, man. Speaking bad about the sons and the daughters of the prophets, man. Like, all right then. If you love heathen so much, you stay with them, then fine. You go be with them. That don't give you the right to put down black men. Have you seen them posts where a sister will be with a devil and she's dissing black men? Listen, man, why you gotta diss black men? Just all right, you happy with him? Go be happy with him, man. And guess what? None of us don't want you anyway, man. None of us don't want you anyway, man.
It's like because there's white men with Chinese women, and they're happy with the Chinese women. They're not dissing white women,
right? Exactly.
And there'll be white women with Chinese men. And she just happy with a Chinese man. She don't say, I left him because white men ain't shit. She'll do her thing. So likewise, if you want to marry a heathen, go be happy, man. Shit.
And then they float them around like a trophy, man. They float them around like a trophy. Like, listen, man. They go places with them where they'll never go places with you, man. Everywhere they take them everywhere, but they don't want to be seen with you. Read on.
Come. Despise not thy brother in thy heart, in not taking a wife of them, for in pride is destruction and much trouble.
In pride is destruction, man. You're full of pride, man. When you think, you know what, I'm better than my race. I'm gonna marry somebody else. You're full of pride, man. You think you're better than this whole nation. Why? Because you got a little bit of money. You think you're better than this whole nation. You think you don't need. So now you're gonna marry outside of your race, like Serena Williams and all these celebrities. You're full of pride, man. Read on.
Come. And lewdness in thy mother of famine.
And lewdness is what? Indecent behavior, man. For you to marry outside of your race is indecent behavior, man. For you to interracial marry, that's indecent behavior, man. That's you behaving indecently. Drop that. You know on it.
Not their wages.
No, that's, give me Proverbs chapter 5 and verse 18.
5.
Yeah, Proverbs 5 and 18. We're gonna get more into it, man.
Proverbs 5:18. Let thy fountain be blessed, and rejoice with the wife of thy youth.
Do what?
Rejoice with the wife of thy youth.
The wife of your youth is what? Them sisters that you grew up with, man.
That's right.
Them people that live in the ghetto like yourself. Them people that you grew up around. Like us. Like we grew up around each other, man. We grew up around each other from young. We had the same culture and everything, man. Like, especially if you're in the UK, you get with an Israelite, man. There's similar cultures, man. We all have certain things, man, which is similar. Our parents raised us in similar ways. Now, if you get with an Edomite, they don't even use cream, man. They don't use cream or nothing. Whereas, black people use cocoa butter, the shower. You get with Esau, man, the dog goes in the bath with them. The black people got a rule where there's no pets on the bed, man. Black people got a rule where no pets allowed on the bed. So lucky lately I'm seeing black people with pets on the bed though. Are you seeing it lately? Lately I'm seeing black people with pets on the bed, man. That should be a no, man. Black people don't usually do that. Like black people got a common understanding, no pets on the bed. Whereas Esau does what? Sleeps next to the pet. Lets the dog lick their face. Feeds the dog off their spoon. This is the people that you want to marry, man. This is the people that you want to marry, man. Whereas if you get with the wife of your youth, man, someone that grew up around you, they ain't into them things. They got a similar understanding to you. Whereas they don't do them things, man. Read on.
Let her be as a loving hind.
Let her what?
Be as a loving hind.
Man, you better let one of them Israelite sisters be as a loving hind, man. That's what you better do, man. Marry one of them, man. Love one of them. Go ahead.
And pleasant roe. Let her breast satisfy thee at all times.
Listen, man. Let her satisfy you at all times, man. Raise her right, man. Obviously, all these, everyone talking about, can't be a black woman because they're out of control. Listen, man. It's your job to put them under control, man. It's your job to fix them, man. And let them know, you ain't gonna be doing this, man. Let them know, you ain't gonna be doing this, man. You ain't gonna be going to every single party. You ain't gonna be going to every single bar. This is what you're gonna do, man. You let her know, man. And then before you know it, and the thing is this, I know most men probably don't know, but secretly women love a strong black man, man. They love it, man. You see, if you tell her you're staying in the house, women they act like they don't like it, but they love it, man. They turn around and face the other way, and their face is like their face is like that, man. They love it, man. But obviously, you're too scared to tell them, so you let them walk all over you. You let them walk all over you and dictate to you what they're gonna do. You tell them, listen, you ain't gonna do that, man. You tell them, listen, you're my wife, and you staying in the house, man. You ain't going there. Go ahead. They can't hear it.
I can't see the graphs on the comment.
Oh yeah, I can see it on here on YouTube. Are they on the Facebook or YouTube? Tell them that they might need to refresh it. Oh, it's up on. Just refresh your one because I can see it on this one. But women love a strong black man, man. That's all it is. And most of us is broken people. Most of us is broken, man. Most of us is damaged. So obviously we're gonna be a certain way towards one another, man. Like obviously women been hurt in the past, so what? They put some walls up. And then this man sees it as this woman's got an attitude, he can't be asked. He says, you know what, let me get a white woman. Whereas you stay with that sister, man, I guarantee you she's the most valuable thing you're gonna have at the end, man. At the end of everything, that's the most valuable thing you're gonna have. But you forsake her for something else, man, that the Lord said you can't have. Go ahead.
Come. And thou be ravished always with her love. And why will thou, my son, be ravished with a strange woman?
Why would you be ravished with a strange woman, man? Why are you gonna lie down with some strange woman, man? Now there's dog hairs all over the bed. Now you got a rash and you don't know where it came from. Now you got a rash and you don't know where it came from. Listen, man. Stay with your own people or read on any more on that. Give me a Songs of Solomon chapter 4 and verse 10. Now this is before Solomon. This is before Solomon went off the rails, man. This is before Solomon went off the rails, man. We're gonna get that when Solomon went off the rails, man. Songs of Solomon 4 and verse 10.
Songs of Solomon 4 and 10. How fair is thy love, my sister, my spouse.
You call that what?
My sister, my spouse.
That's what you need to do. Marry a sister, man.
That's right.
Marry a sister, man. Understand? Like when the white man says sister, he thinks this means like your literal sister, which comes from your father and your mother. That lives with you. It's not talking about that, man. It's talking about a woman of your nation. You call her his sister. Why? Because he married his sister, man. This is at the time when Solomon was on the right path. Before, you know, them Chinese women caused him to take a left.
The guy that shits himself, isn't it?
Which one?
Last comment.
Oh yeah, I think he's a Edomite that couldn't prove his father was Israel. Does he?
The truth, that same guy that shits himself.
Oh, I remember him. Yeah, he's a clown. Every day, I think he's in every class calling us Canaanites. Every day, I don't know what it's. Obviously, some people ain't all there. I think he's one of them. Anyway, forget that. Let's forget that clown. But Solomon did what? Married his sister, man. Solomon said, "My sister, my spouse, man." Meaning Solomon married inside his race, man. At that time, read on. No, you probably can just leave him there. You can just leave him there.
Carl.
By the way, it's an Edomite pretending he's an Ephraimite. He's not an Ephraimite, man, because he couldn't prove who his father was, and that's why he's so mad in all the classes. That's why he's so mad. And our sisters, you need to marry inside your race and not people like this clown, man. Not people like this clown. But read on.
How much better is thy love than wine?
How much what?
Better is thy love than wine.
Man, a black sister's love's better than wine, man. Sometimes, you know, you want to spend time with her. Sometimes you I don't, but sometimes some people turn their phone off and, you know, I don't know. Sometimes some brothers want to turn their phone off and whatnot. Stay in the house for a week or whatnot. It's fine, man. It's good. Because love is better than wine. Any more on that? Drop that. Give me 1 Kings chapter 11 and verse 1.
First Kings 11 and 1. But Solomon loved many strange women.
Solomon did what?
Loved many strange women.
Solomon loved many strange women. Meaning Solomon loved women of other nations, man. Go ahead.
And, Slakia, together with the daughter of Pharaoh.
He loved Egyptian women, man. Daughters of Pharaoh. Go ahead.
Women of the Moabites.
Women of the Moabites. He loved Chinese women, man. He loved Chinese women. Go ahead.
Ammonites.
Japanese women, man. Go ahead.
Edomites.
White women. Go ahead.
Zidonians.
African women.
And Hittites.
Another race of African women. Go ahead.
Of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you. For surely they will turn away your heart after other gods.
And he said, yo, you shouldn't marry them. Why? Because if you marry them, they're going to turn away your heart, man, after other gods. Meaning what? Things that you wouldn't usually do, you're going to end up doing. Certain customs that you wouldn't usually do, now you're doing. Now you're cooking African food. Now you're making all this next nonsense that you wouldn't usually eat, that you didn't grow up on. Now you're eating pork, shrimp, and all of that stuff that you never used to eat. Like when you look at us as black people, especially us in the UK, most of us have a similar diet, man. We have a similar diet. Like, and this is how you know the Bible's a black man's book. Like, you look at the dietary law, that is a black man's diet, man. The ox, the lamb, the goat, the chicken. That's a black man's diet, man. Like all these other stuff that people are eating, like Chinese what eat duck and whatnot. Black people don't really eat. Black people don't really eat duck, do they?
No, not to that.
Black people don't really eat duck, man. Over time, black people started eating prawns and all that nonsense. But things like duck, black people don't usually touch them stuff. But because we're in captivity around these other nations, now black people started eating all that nonsense. Go ahead.
Khan, surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon clave unto these in love.
Solomon loved these women, man. He loved them heathen women. And because of his love for them, he started building statues to their gods, idols and whatnot. Started going against his God to follow theirs. And that's the fight that you have once you marry a heathen, man. You start serving their God. And you start obeying what they want. Because you cleave to them in love. They don't ever obey what you want, but you must obey what they want. How about you just avoid them? How about you just avoid them, man? That's the easiest way. So we're going to pick up this from verse. Let me get there. Is it on? Damn. Oh, I didn't even know. But well, I wouldn't have known if you didn't say damn. Verse 2 of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, you shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you, for surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon clave unto these in love. Says, and he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart. And his wives turned away his heart, man. Solomon loved these women, man. And for his love for them, they turned away his heart. And what did he do? Started worshipping other gods now. Go on Google and type in Darius Maxey. I'm going to show you what happens to a black man when he marries a heathen woman, man. I'm going to show you. Darius, yeah, DARRISMAXIE. I'm going to show you, man. This is a black man married a white woman. And now he's doing some weird stuff, man. This is the thing, man. Marrying other nations will have you doing some crazy stuff. Click on any of them. You pull up a picture of him as well. We're gonna screen share a picture for you. Listen, man. This is what white women will have you doing, man. They'll have you buying sex dolls, man. They'll make you be in a polygamous relationship with a sex doll, man. You know this wasn't this black man's idea, man. Like when does a black man just wake up and say, "Oh, I'm gonna get a sex doll"? That's not a black man thing, man. You see all these sex dolls and whatnot. White men have those things, man. And white men have fetishes and it turns them on and whatnot. When is a black man, which I guarantee you don't know one black man that has a sex doll, man. But Esau does, man. He loves them things. Esau has a cupboard full of all his sex dolls and all of them things they use, man. Whereas black men don't really have sex dolls, but we're going to read the article. Read the article. You probably can. Yeah.
Says couple claim. So the couple claim sex robot with soft Scottish accent. It's like saved their marriage.
Listen, man. They said couple claims sex robot with soft Scottish accent saved their marriage. Now you know initially it really wasn't the black man's idea. You know, she's probably said to him, I can't have a sex with you as much as you want, so just get a sex doll. And that's probably what she said, man. Told him get a sex doll. And this man has got the sex doll and loves the sex doll Scottish accent. When's a black man ever into weird stuff like that? Never, man. Which black woman would say to a black man, get a sex doll? Never, man. A black woman wouldn't say that, man. And when you start to marry outside of your race, you start to do stuff which is abnormal, stuff which is weird and strange. Read on.
Camilla's personality was chosen by Darius and Shelley, who sleep beside her and dress her in the morning.
They sleep beside her and dress her in the morning, man. They sleep. Listen, this man actually dresses this sex. Like this, you can tell that this it's not this black man's idea. I think we might need to take a picture of him with the flashlight. Get out, man. I think he's in the sunken place, man. I think this man's in the sunken place. We know that's not his idea, man. Go ahead.
Shelley, 45, and Darius Maxey, 48, from Texas, USA, splash out on a computerized artificial intelligence sex doll called Camilla.
Listen, man. They got a sex doll and called it Camilla, man. Go ahead.
To save their marriage after the third person in their previous poly relationship left them.
Listen, man, you know all of this nonsense weren't this black man's idea. This definitely weren't his idea, man. You keep interracial marrying, I'm gonna see you walking down the road with a sex doll one day, man. I'm gonna be like, damn, what happened to you, man? And you ain't gonna know how to answer me, man. Before it gets to that stage, just don't interracial marry. You're gonna be phoning us saying, "Can I have a lift?" And we're gonna think, ask you what you're going to buy. You're gonna come with a big box with a sex doll in there. Listen, man, you better just marry inside your race, man. Go ahead. Right, exactly. We ain't got that kind of boot space, man.
Come on. Camilla, who speaks with a soft Scottish accent.
Camilla, this is the sex doll, not a human. Camilla, who speaks with a soft Scottish accent. Now, if you know anything about Scotland, it's predominantly white people. And this man wanted a white sex doll with a soft Scottish accent. Go ahead. This man's a sexual deviant, man. Why would you want a sex doll? I don't understand. Go ahead.
Can talk to the couple through a custom AR personality application.
Can do what?
Talk to the couple with a custom AR personality application.
What black man wakes up and says, "I want a sex doll that talks to me. I want a sex doll that, like, you know, it's not real. You know, it's a doll." And this white woman's got this black man convinced that this sex doll's real. Brought this sex doll into the house. No black woman would do that, man. Understand this. You can say whatever you want about black women, man, but black women wouldn't do that, man. No black woman's gonna have you get some sex doll. No black woman's gonna have you get some sex doll with a Scottish accent, man. Now, it might give you a headache here and there, but you rather deal with that headache, man, than you get with some woman that's bringing in Camilla, some sex doll with a Scottish accent. You know, this black man's miserable as could be, man, but he has to pretend he likes all this stuff. Go ahead.
And responds to them in real time and questions. They ask her.
And she responds to them in real time and answers their questions. Now, these things that we're reading about, if you didn't see a picture of a black man, you'd think this is a white man, because that's what they do, man. They have sex with sex toys and spend all their money on it, spend their life savings on it. That's what they do, man. They get their tax return and spend it on sex dolls, man. And to see this is a black man doing this, we blame the woman, man. Go ahead.
They ask her, depending on her mood, has life-like skin and built to be flexible as a person.
Imagine they built this sex doll to be flexible as a person, man. Go ahead. It says, they ask her, depending on her mood, has lifelike skin, is built to be as flexible as a real person, and is even able to stand up by herself. Listen, man, you know that's not his idea, man. But when you marry outside of your race, you cleave onto these women in love, and then whatever they want, you do it because you want to please them. They want you to go to the mosque, you go to the mosque because you want to please them. They want you to eat pork, you go and eat pork because you want to please them. They want you to get a sex doll, you go and get a sex doll because you want to please them. They want to be a swinger and sleep with other men and say, "Oh, we should go to a swinging party and try other partners." A black woman would never, listen, say what you want about a black woman, but a black woman would never say that to you, man. A sister will never say that to you, but white women will, man. They will say to you, "Let's spice up our love life by going to a swingers party." That's the things that they do, man. A black woman will never say that to you. But you go outside of your race, and that's what you end up with, man. End up going to all these strange swingers parties, end up buying sex toys, and end up having threesomes and foursomes and fivesomes, and then you end up in an open relationship. That's the next step, an open relationship, meaning used to just live in the same house, but she's having sex with everybody, and likewise, so are you. A open relationship, which means you can't get mad at her if she's having sex with other men. That's what people are doing now, an open relationship. Whereas you two just pay the bills together, but she's having sex with everybody else. Yeah, go ahead.
Say things like the open relationship saved our marriage, but really they hate you.
Right, exactly. The open relationship saved our marriage. You're not even in a marriage if you're doing that. You're just two people that's paying rent together, man. That's all it is. You're just two people that live together, who's paying the rent together. Nothing more, nothing less, man. That's all you are, man. We're going to read on some more of the article. It says, her personality is designed by Darius and preloaded into Camilla. So they're saying that this man designed their personality. You know, that wasn't his idea, man. The woman put that in his mind, let's get a sex toy. And this silly black man went and ran with it, man. And now he's got a sex toy. Now he's married to a sex toy. Read on. Imagine you're married to a sex toy, man. To a doll. You're married to a doll, not even a real woman, a doll. And you've named this doll. And you've gave it a Scottish voice. Sounds weird to me. That's some strange stuff. Go ahead. His personally.
Her personality is designed by Darius and preloaded into Camilla before delivery. She will change moods.
You know what?
Change moods.
Imagine this man brought a doll that changes moods. You know that wasn't his idea, man. The same way how it went Solomon's idea to make those stuff, but he craved to them women in love and he wanted to please them. This man here wants to please his woman. Once you start marrying outside of your race, you're prone to get into these kind of stuff, man. You're prone to get into these kind of stuff. Go ahead.
So I can change moods, incite sexual intercourse with him when she is in the mood.
When what?
When she is in the mood.
Imagine this sex doll has to be in the mood. like this sex doll has a brain where this sex doll engages in sex with him when the doll's in the mood. What kind of weird stuff is that, man? And you know it wasn't this black man's idea to come to the paper and put himself on there. If you're going to do that disgusting stuff, at least remain anonymous. This black man smiled for the paper, man. Came out and shamed himself. Go ahead. Yeah, exactly. Imagine this man's having sex with that doll, man. And it sleeps in the bed with it. That's just weird, man. It's rubber, by the way, and that's what he's having sex with. Go ahead.
And has hundreds of programmed words to speak back to Darius and Shelley when they talk.
And has programmed words. Listen, man, you know this black man's idea. Black men don't just one day come up with this great idea that I want a sex doll that speaks back to me in a Scottish accent. No. That ain't a black man, man. Read on.
And the trio don't limit their relationship to the bedroom, with Darius regularly taking Camilla to work with him, and the pair taking her out to dinner.
He takes this white woman and the sex doll out for dinner when he could have just been with a black woman, man, and took a black woman out to dinner. Could have took a sister out to dinner. Look at him with the sex doll. Look at him. Screen share that. Look at him with the sex doll. You're gonna screen share the picture of him with the sex doll. Look at them. This is him with the sex doll, man. He's holding the sex doll around the waist like it's a real woman. Like this man's look like he's made it and he's paved the way for black people. Look at him with a sex doll. These are the kind of things that you're going to be doing, man. You marry outside of your race. Go ahead.
Darius, who works in pest control, said.
Darius works in pest control, man. Darius works in pest control, man. And he's got a sex doll. What is his colleagues must be thinking, damn, what's wrong with this brother? Go ahead.
I really like the Scottish accent. I find it really soothing to the ear. When I hear her talk, the syllables of what she says are really easy to understand. So it's not just the sound of her accent, it's the rhythm and speech pattern that it gives when she talks.
Basically, he gets turned on by this robot talking to him. He gets turned on by this robot talking to him in a Scottish accent. Go ahead. No more on that.
Talk about accent and shit.
Let me scroll down. Let's see if there's is the part on there where it tells you how much you paid for it? Basically, this look put screenshot is with. Let's take listen. And this is what every black man picks up a white woman, this is the type they pick up. Let me show you.
It's like FMA, and the dolly is modeling the dress better than his wife, man.
Exactly. The doll is modeling the dress better than the woman's on the screenshot. And listen, man. Welcome to Arastaman's Kingdom of Heaven. This is Arastaman's Kingdom of Heaven right here, man. Every time Arastaman gets a white woman, this is the one he gets. And he says, Jah Rastafari, man. He praises Jah Rastafari when he gets that woman, man. He praises Jah when he gets that woman, man. Look at her, man. Look at down to the arm. Look at the arm, man. Down to the arm, man. And that's the woman that he picked up. That's the woman that's got him going against the Lord, man. That's the woman that's got him going against the Lord. I don't know what to say, man. We can drop the screenshot on this one. We can drop the screenshot on this one. Yeah, go back to 1 Kings. Like, this is a weird world we live in, man. Like, people are just weird nowadays. Once upon a time, these things was unheard of, but nowadays, this is the new normal. Sex dolls and all of that nonsense. Giving them names and giving them voices and allowing them to speak back to. Imagine this man knows it's not a real person and the doll is speaking back to him. Listen, man. And it shows, by the choice of woman he picked up, it shows what kind of man he is. But go ahead.
But King Solomon loves many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh.
Solomon loved many strange women, man. When you love strange women, that's the kind of things they'll have you doing. Go ahead.
Women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites,
Damn,
Zidonians.
You loving them Chinese women. They're gonna have you eating with chopsticks, man. Imagine you're a man that usually eats rice and peas, man. Usually it's rice and peas and all of them hard meals, and now you're eating chopsticks. How do you hold them like this? Chopsticks, yeah. Is why? Like, it lets you know how dumb Chinese people are. Chopsticks, you know. What can you pick up with a chopstick? Listen, man. That's what they're gonna have you eating, man. Understand this, man. You can't eat jerk chicken with no chopstick, man. You can't eat fried dumplings with no chopstick, man. Right. You can't eat a bowl of soup with no chopsticks, man. How about you marry your own people, man? Go ahead.
Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittites of the nations concerning.
Edomites will have you buying a sex doll, man.
That's right.
Africans will have you what? Believe in all of this blood money and this witchcraft nonsense. They'll have you. They'll have you believe in all of this nonsense. You get with them Africans. All them Africans will poison you, man. That's what they'll do, man. They'll poison you, man. Go ahead.
Of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go in unto them, neither shall they come in unto you.
The Lord told us don't go into them, and don't let them come in unto us. Why? Because the Lord wanted us separate. The Lord wanted us to serve Him. But once you marry somebody else, you no longer serve the Lord. You serve their God. You do what their God requires. You now celebrate Christmas, Easter, and all of them things. Now you're a black person in some next race's house over the Christmas period, and they're looking at you weird, man. Like, just imagine you're around their house watching a movie and it's a black movie, man. Everyone's looking at you, man, because you're the only black person in the room. How about you marry someone which is like yourself, man? Go ahead.
For surely they will turn away your heart after other gods.
You know what?
Turn away your heart after their gods.
They will turn away your heart after their gods. Now, 40 or 50 something years later, now we have to battle Rastafarians, man. Why? Because Leonard Howell wanted to have sex with an East Indian woman. Now we have to what? Battle our Rastafarian parents, man. Because of Leonard Howell. Leonard Howell had sex with an Indian woman and did what? Took on all of her culture, all of her customs. Now we have to explain to our people that smoking weed ain't our customs. Now we have to explain to our people that dreadlocks ain't our customs. Because Leonard Howell wanted to have sex with one East Indian woman, man. Leonard Howell's dead long time ago, and now we're undoing the nonsense that he set up, man. In Leonard Howell, loving East Indian culture, now we have to explain that East Indian culture is not our culture because Leonard Howell wanted to have sex with an East Indian woman. Now we have to cut black men's dreads. Why? Because Leonard Howell wanted to have sex with an East Indian woman. Leonard Howell had sex with an East Indian woman, enjoyed it, and now we're suffering from that 50 years later, man. Now you got all these Rasta men talking about the going back to Zion, but Zion's not in Ethiopia. First of all, they're going back to Zion, but they're in Ethiopia. Ethiopia is not Zion, man. Now we need to explain that Selassie ain't no god of black people, man. Now we have to explain that Selassie is a disgusting African, man. Is a disgusting Hamite. We have to explain those things. Why? Because black men wanted to have sex with other races of people, man. And 50 years later, it's still affecting us. 50 years later, we have to destroy the Rastafarian movement, man. 50 years later, man. 50 years later, we have to battle this Rastafarian movement. Because why? Leonard Howell wanted to have sex with some East Indian woman 50 years ago and take their culture and customs. Go ahead.
These Solomon clave unto in love.
And these Leonard Howell clave unto his woman in love. So now I have to tell Rastafarian women and men, Selassie is nonsense and dreads ain't our culture. And dreads is dirty and it's an East Indian custom, man. I have to tell them dreads is as dirty as having pets on the bed, man. Listen, man. Having dreads, them dreads on your pillow is as dirty as having your dog on the pillow, man. That's how dirty them dreads are, man. It's a lot. Dreads is that dirty, man. Now I have to tell people that why? Because Leonard Howell wanted to have sex with an East Indian woman. Go ahead.
And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines.
Go ahead.
And his wives turned away his heart.
And his wives turned away his heart. And that's what happens, man. In the beginning, you might be like, oh, she ain't gonna turn away my heart. It's not gonna happen to me. I'm stronger than all them other men. I'm stronger than all them other men. It shows that you're weak if you're marrying them in the first place, man. It shows that you ain't as strong as you think you are if you're marrying them in the first place. Because they're gonna turn away your heart. And before you know it, you're buying sex dolls, man. And I'm gonna see you on the paper talking about you got a sex doll with a Scottish accent, but I read on. Like that brother, what his name was, something Maxi. Darius Maxi, go ahead.
For it came to pass when Solomon was old that his wives turned away his heart after other gods.
His wives turned away his heart after other gods when he was old. Now, everything that you're doing will catch up to you one day, man. One day it will all catch up to you. No word of a lie, man. You think you're strong, but you're gonna fall in love with that woman, and she's gonna be like, oh, you're gonna fall in love with that man, and they're gonna be like, I'm gonna leave if you don't do this. And before you know it, you're kissing under the mistletoe, celebrating Christmas, going on an Easter egg hunt. What the hell is an Easter egg hunt? Going on an Easter egg hunt, which is some nonsense. Before you know it, you're doing those things. Go ahead.
Come on, verse 5. For Solomon went after Ashtaroth, the goddess of the Zidonians.
And then he went to start serving other gods, man. Why? Because he wanted to please his women. And if you know anything, women are powerful. If they keep pressing you. Same thing happened to Samson, man. Samson one day didn't listen to his woman when she was telling him do this, do that. And one day Solomon gave in, man. And what happened? They ended up poking his eyes out and killing him, man. Why? Because he married a woman that he shouldn't have married. Fell in love with a woman that he shouldn't have married. And the same way Delilah tricked Samson, your woman's going to trick you. She's going to be like, oh, but if you love me, you would come to mosque. So before you know it, you got in the mosque hat. Before you know it, you got in a mosque hat, getting ready to go to mosque. Before you know it, you got in the turban, ready to go to the good warrior. Go ahead.
And after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites.
And after the Japanese ones, man. Like, what makes you look at? Listen, and my thing is, what makes you look at a Japanese woman and think they're attractive? What do you see? Like, what do you see, man? Like, when you've got the most beautiful women on the face of the earth, man, and the Lord said you can have the 12 tribes of Israel, man. The Lord said you can have them, but you want to go outside your race to go get some what? Some Japanese woman, some African woman, women who ain't royalty. We're the children of the prophets, man. We need to start acting like it. That's what we need to do. Go ahead.
And Solomon did evil in the sight of the Lord.
And Solomon did what?
Evil in the sight of the Lord.
When you interracial marry, you do evil in the sight of the Lord, man. Meaning the Lord sees the evil that you're doing, and the Lord ain't with it. The Lord ain't with the evil that you're doing, man. He ain't for it, man. The Lord don't care that you're saying, oh, but I'm in love. The Lord don't care that you're saying, oh, I'm gonna serve Allah once because I'm in love. I'm gonna serve Guru Nanak once because I'm in love. The Lord sees the evil that you're doing, man. Meaning you've put them before him, man. Read on.
And went not fully after the God as David did his father.
And what?
And Sakia. And fully not when and went not fully after the Lord as David did his father.
And he wasn't perfect with the Lord like David his father, man. Go ahead.
Then Solomon built a high place for Chemosh.
And what?
Solomon built a high place for Chemosh.
And also, man, our sister online said, don't forget to be equally yoked within the nation as well. The thing is, the difference with that is even if a brother married a sister that's not in the truth, that's not unlawful because she's of his nation, so they're allowed to be married. But on that one, it's just more not wise to marry someone that's not in the truth because obviously they're going to give you problems with Christmas, Easter, birthdays. But if you did, that wouldn't be unlawful. But marrying outside of your race is 1,000,000% unlawful. But for you to marry someone of your race who's got different beliefs, it's not smart, but it wouldn't make you a sinner, and it's not unlawful. But go ahead. It's just not wise. It's just not expedient. But go ahead.
The abomination of Moab in the hill that is before Jerusalem.
Anyone that serve Moab as well, man. Moab's gods, all that nonsense. Go ahead.
For Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon.
I should drop that 1 second. Let me get one more before we close out. Give me Numbers chapter 25 and verse 1. We're going to close out with this one real quick.
Numbers 25 and 1. And Israel abode in Shittim, and the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab.
The people began to what?
Commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab.
And that's why the Bible said. That's why the Bible said in the Tobit, beware of all whoredom, because of what happened in Numbers, man. Go ahead.
And Israel joined himself unto Baal Pure.
And what?
Slakia. Verse 2. And they called the people unto the sacrifices of their gods, and the people did eat and bowed down themselves to their gods.
What happened now? These other nations called us to their sacrifices. When they were sacrificing to their gods, they called us, and we bowed down to their gods. Imagine the Lord delivered us out of Egypt, and this is what we want to be doing. Go ahead.
And Israel joined himself unto Baal Pure, and
we joined ourselves unto the heathen, man. Go ahead.
And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel. And the Lord said unto Moses.
Angry with us. So now we joined ourselves into them. Meaning what? Now, after explaining to black people why there's no such thing as the year of the rat and the year of the dog. Now you join yourself to Chinese people. That's what you believe in: the year of the dog, the year of the rat, the year of the dragon, and so forth. You start believing in all that nonsense when you join yourself to them heathens, man. We ain't supposed to do that. Go ahead.
And the Lord said unto Moses, take all the heads of the people.
Listen, man, the Lord won't play no games. The Lord said, take all the heads of the people. Listen, that don't sound very Christian to me. That don't sound very violin and guitar to me.
That's right.
So take the heads of the people, man. Sounds like Moses was unjust to me, man. Sounds like Moses was a hardcore black man. Go ahead.
and hang them up before the Lord against the sun.
And listen, man, you hang them up, let everybody see, man, that you like done messed up, man, and this ain't right. Go ahead.
That the fierce anger of the Lord may be turned away from Israel.
That the fierce anger of the Lord may be turned away from Israel, man. Go ahead.
Come. And Moses said unto the judges of Israel, slay every one his men that is joined unto Baal Peor.
Slay every man is man that's joined to them heathens, man. That's what would happen back then. And the time's going to come around for that again, man. Because the Lord don't want us joined to them heathens. But that brings us to the end of the class. We opened the time, so we're going to continue part 2 next week.
Right, shall I clap it up? Clap it up. Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai B'Katah.
Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai B'Katah.